What if I told you that there's just 4 things that you need to master and transform your life insurance business? Now, these are the exact 4 frameworks that we use to scale a life insurance agency from $0 to $100,000 per month in just 85 days. They've also helped agents like Ben go from $0 to $42,000 in just 1 month, and help Eris and Eddie sell $30,000 per month working just 3 hours per day, and also helped Jorge profit $13,000 in 1 month without making a single phone call. And if you master these 4 sales principles that I'm about to teach you, then your business will absolutely blow up. Alrighty guys, so with any further ado, let's go ahead and dive right in. I call this the true north of sales, okay? So what you guys are gonna learn in this video is 4 concepts that will basically guide you through the stormy sea of sales. Because what happens is when you jump on the phone, you just kind of you get kind of sucked into things and you forget what you're doing. And if you can remember these 4 key concepts, right? Just 4, no matter what happens on the sales call, if you keep these 4 concepts, you will end up where you need to be. You will end up at true north if you just follow the North Star. Amazing. So I'm going to go through this starting with the first concept. I kind of blurred this out for, for surprise effect. Starting with number 1, which is the client's why. Okay. So the client's why is one of the most important things when it comes to selling any product, but especially life insurance, right? So if you master the meaning of this word, you will be able to sell life insurance on easy mode. And it's so simple, but most people overlook it, right? And that word is why, okay? AKA the reason somebody would buy life insurance. Now, this might sound extremely simple to most, but when you break it down, like if you can't accurately describe a client's why back to them, then they aren't going to trust you and they aren't going to want to buy from you, right? At that point, they're literally just giving money to an insurance company for no reason, and nobody wants to do that. People don't really trust insurance companies, as you guys may have seen in the recent news. So if there's no like deep why as to why they're purchasing a policy, they're just not going to buy, right? So I'm going to show you guys what the why actually means, because it's made up of 3 different pieces, okay? There's 3 components of why, as you guys can see with my beautiful drawing, my beautiful graphic right here. So there's 3 components of why, okay? We have who, which is who will they leave the money to. We have what, which is what problem is the life insurance policy solving. And then we have how, okay? Which is how does life insurance solve the problem and make the who's life easier. So how does life insurance solve whatever the problem is, and how does it make their beneficiaries' life easier, right? So let's start with who, and once I break down these 3 things, you guys are going to understand the meaning of the word why. So who, okay? This is the person who is the beneficiary. People do not buy life insurance for themselves, right? Now, if we're talking about like, somebody setting something up for like infinite banking and IUL, their why is going to be a little bit different, and it's not necessarily going to be the exact same because it's more of a financial strategy as opposed to something they're buying to protect one of their family members. But this overall concept still works, right? So people don't buy life insurance for themselves in 90% of situations. They buy it for the people that they care about, right? So whoever this is in their life. The majority of the topic's conversation should focus on this person, right? It should focus on their beneficiary, not on the numbers behind the life insurance policy. Again, if you're selling IUL or infinite banking, you can throw that piece out of the window because a lot of it does depend on the numbers. But for like term and whole life final expense, this is like right on the money, right? So why this is like what you want to focus the conversation on. Why are they protecting this person? What are the past pains? Like, what was the moment of decision? When did they decide that they needed to get this policy, right? This is an emotional sale. The relationship with that person. What will happen to this person in hypothetical situations? So what happens if you get the policy? What happens if you don't? These are the things you want to kind of talk about. What it would look like if you moved forward versus didn't move forward. And then basically kind of illustrating with stories what it looked like for people who did get life insurance and people who didn't and how that played out. Right? These are very, very powerful concepts that if you touch on, during the sales process are going to, really increase your chances of selling a policy. The next piece is what, okay? So we talked about who. Again, this is the beneficiary. This is the person they're protecting, whether it's their spouse, their kids, their grandkids, whoever it is. What is the problem that you're solving, right? So this is basically like the big bad wolf in the situation, right? So what is the insurance actually protecting this person from? Like what is the scenario they're trying to prevent from happening? Whether that be a big funeral bill, you're selling final expense, whether that's going into credit card debt, having to start a GoFundMe, having to sell the house, having to, reduce their lifestyle. So, you take the kids out of soccer practice, take the kids out of dance lessons. You can't afford all those things if the lifestyle decreases, right? And that's essentially the what. That is the overall problem that we're trying to solve. And we want to be able to articulate this and describe this situation to our client. And we also need to be able to ask questions that are going to get them to tell us this, right? And I'm going to show you guys how to do that in just a moment. Then we have the how, okay? So we talked about who, we talked about what. What is the how? So the how is basically, how does the insurance policy protect the beneficiary? So it's like describing the situation of what it looks like when they have insurance and how it protects the person who they're trying to protect from the situation. I'll explain how that works and you guys will see an example. So if what is the downside, right? So the downside is like the funeral bill, going into credit card debt, having to start a GoFundMe, then how is the upside, right? So it's like the dream scenario of the policy working. So if you get this policy, how would it protect your beneficiary from having to go into debt to pay for your funeral, right? If you do get this policy, how would it protect your beneficiary from having to go into debt to pay your funeral? That is like the how. Well, the answer is the life insurance policy will pay out $25,000 to your wife to pay for your funeral so she doesn't have to go into debt. This is basically how the how works. So another example would be like, let's say you're selling a term policy, for example. Let's say the who is someone's trying to protect their spouse, right? Let's say we're selling a term policy to like a trucker or somebody. The who is the spouse. So the trucker is trying to protect their spouse. The what are they trying to protect them from? Well, that situation would be, let's say they pass away in an accident and then all of a sudden the wife doesn't have enough money to pay for the house. She has to go into foreclosure, all these different situations that could happen, right? That's the what. So the how is describing the scenario of how life insurance would protect her. So if you die in an accident, your wife's going to get a check for $1 million, which is going to give her 10 years of living expenses paid for. So she's not having to worry about going into debt, not having to worry about, changing her lifestyle, not having to worry about selling the house. That's the how. So the how is how the policy actually works and the situation that it solves. So you want to go deep here, right? You want to even talk about like the time frame of when the check will arrive, their beneficiary not having to deal with long hold times because you're choosing a good insurance company, how you as the agent will be able to help guide them through the process so they're not taken advantage of. Like you want to paint this picture when you describe the how, right? So for example, so John, in the event that something were to happen to you, I'm going to be there for your wife. All she'll have to do is make a quick phone call to me. I'll help her jump on the phone with the insurance company. And within 1 day, she's going to have that check that she can use to, pay off the house. Literally the next day, she could not have a mortgage going forward. The company we're choosing has great customer service. So she'll call me. We'll jump on the phone. It'll take like 5 to 10 minutes. We'll be speaking with somebody. We'll get the check processed. I'll help walk her through this entire process so she doesn't get taken advantage of. And, obviously she's going to be extremely emotional with what just happened, losing you. But I'll be there to hold her hand and kind of walk her through that whole process to make sure she's okay, right? So that's painting the picture. Awesome. So this is the why. Let's look at an example of like tying it all together and how you can ask these questions to figure out like what their why is so you can kind of paint that picture. And when you're in the sale, what you want to do is you want to kind of like tick off these boxes in your mind. So like you want to find out what is their why. So what are you trying to find out? Well, first we need to find out who are you protecting, what are you protecting them from, and then how does life insurance protect them? So that's gonna dictate what questions I ask during the sales process. Okay, so let's look at an example. Okay, so Ms. Jones, I want to know a little bit more about why you're getting life insurance. That way I can fully understand where you're coming from and how I can help you, or if you even need this stuff. So first of all, tell me, who are you protecting? My daughter. Got it. So your daughter's who you're protecting. I guess, what are you looking to cover? Like, the cost of a burial or cremation? What does this look like? Funeral. Okay. And, if you passed away without life insurance, would your daughter have to pay for your funeral, or do you have money set aside to cover it? No, she'd have to pay for it. I don't have much in savings. So here we already have the who, which is the daughter, and we're now getting kind of an idea of the what, right? These questions are the what. So she's covering a funeral. The daughter would have to pay for it. She'd have to pay for it out of pocket and put it on a credit card. And I'm guessing that's not something you want to happen. No, definitely not. And then I'm kind of like repeating back to this. Repeating back to her to show her that I understand. So it seems like you care a lot about your family. They're lucky to have someone who's planning ahead and thinking about them. I'm going to kind of repeat back everything you told me. Let me know if I missed anything. So now I'm just basically reiterating what her why is. So you're looking at life insurance because you're going to be buried. You want to make sure that if something happens, your daughter doesn't have to worry about going into debt to cover the costs, right? So I'm repeating the why back to them, right? Does that make sense, guys? Hopefully it does. This is the client's why. This is one of the most important things, okay? This is the pillar number 1 of the North Star. Next, we're going to talk about a concept called human first, okay? Now, whenever you jump on the phones as a agent, as a salesperson, what often happens is like you want to help somebody, but you're also looking out for yourself at the end of the day, right? A lot of you guys, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, you're chasing a commission. And that's okay because, I mean, you have to pay your bills. This isn't just a charity, but it's actually going to hurt your ability to A, help your clients, but B, it's actually counterintuitive because you're going to make less sales when you're chasing the commission, which is why we have to approach it from a mindset of human first, right? It's very easy to sell something when you truly believe that you're helping somebody, right? Think about the last time that you recommended a friend to a restaurant. There's a few restaurants I really like. One of them is called Cava. It's like a Mediterranean version of Chipotle. And I used to eat there like literally every day, sometimes twice a day. And, if you ask any of my friends, I will recommend that restaurant to no avail. Like I will debate people that disagree with me that Cava is the best fast food or, fast casual restaurant. No, there's no question in my mind. And so I have full conviction that Cava is the best. And so for me to get somebody to try it, like all I have to do is just talk about how great it is and how I know they're going to love the food. And like every single person I've told to try it has tried it. Some of them have liked it. Some of them are just wrong, but that's okay, right? But this is an example of having conviction and approaching it from human first. Like when I make that restaurant recommendation, it's because I know that I love this restaurant and I know that they will love it too. So I'm approaching it from, hey, I want to actually help this person. So in order to do this, you have to approach the call not from how can I get a commission, but how can I put this person in a better spot than when I found them. So you want to treat your clients like they're your own grandparents or parents, depending on the product you're selling. Because at the end of the day, we're paid to help people. So if you focus on helping them and don't focus on selling, you will make more money. It's literally that simple, right? Like we have to remember there's another human being on the other end of the phone. They have a heartbeat. They're a mom and a dad they have a mom and a dad just like you. They have kids and like there's serious consequences if we don't help them, right? And not helping them could be you put them in a worse situation, or you could have put them in a better situation, but you didn't push enough because you don't really believe in what you're selling. And then something bad happens to their family because they don't have life insurance, right? So we want to approach it from a mindset of like, how can I help this person? Human first, human first, human first. Amazing. That is pillar number 2. Now, this third pillar, before I unveil it, you guys may already kind of know what it is. This is one of the most powerful, potent things that you can do on a sales call to increase your sales, okay? I mean, literally, when we started doing this, our sales actually doubled, okay? They actually doubled. I feel like I've hyped this up enough. So, third pillar is focusing on getting the review. So you may be saying like, okay, what the hell does that mean? Why am I trying to get a review? I'm trying to make money. I'm trying to get sales. So check this out. I'm going to tell you guys a story. So this was almost a year ago. Julian and I were running an agency that sold final expense over the phone. Okay. And he was selling. I was doing all the lead gen and building all the systems and the automations and all that stuff. And he was having like a down week. I think he was doing like maybe 20K a month, which was, considerably lower than what we were used to. And he was getting frustrated, right? Like when you have down months, you get really frustrated and you start to, even if you're a good salesperson, you're going to start to kind of get that commission breath, like just trying to close the deal, right? And so the mental shift that we decided to have was, hey, what if instead of trying to get the sale, we just focused on getting a review? And literally the day we implemented this, he sold $3,000 in one day, and we went on to do 40K in that month just on his production. Just from saying, instead of trying to get a sale, when I get somebody on the phone, I'm going to try to get them to give me a 5-star review. And if that's a 5-star review from me helping them get insurance, great. If that's a 5-star review from me telling them that they don't need insurance, great. And so it takes all of the pressure off of the sale, and instead you're just trying to have this person have a positive interaction and a positive experience with you, whether that means that you help them or not, right? And you're going to help them either way, but whether you sell them a policy or not. So you're always trying to put someone in a better situation, and that's it. There's no pressure on the sale. If it makes sense to sell them a policy, you sell them, right? Which, for whatever reason, this just absolutely dumb. It just kills it, right? It just kills it. And the cool thing is too, you have better interactions with people when you're trying to help them instead of just trying to get a sale. Like if you focus on the 5-star review, even the people that aren't gonna buy, if you approach it from like more of a positive mindset, you're gonna have better interactions with people that would otherwise be like really rude to you, just because you're approaching it from a different perspective. So you have a better overall experience on the phone. So focus on getting the review. That's pillar number 4. Okay. Now this last one, this is a concept I stole from Jordan Belfort, The Wolf of Wall Street, and he talks about this in his book, The Way of the Wolf. Okay. So what happens is you're going to jump on the phones, and basically the way to get to a sale is a straight line, right? It's called straight line selling. But what happens is the prospect is going to try to take you off track. They're going to take you down to, up to Pluto, down to Uranus, which is like not where you want to be. So there's lines that you want to stay within on the call. And when I say this, this is like the boundaries of the conversation. So if you start talking about, their dog, Pumpkin, right? Like they have a little Dachshund named Pumpkin. You're getting off track and you're not progressing the sale forward. Okay. So there's a really great strategy, because a lot of people get uncomfortable. And this is what happens, especially with like novice salespeople or even intermediate salespeople, is they're uncomfortable, like not pursuing a conversation with somebody. So like, let's say you jump on with someone and they're like, they want to talk about their dog, and then you start talking about their dog too, and then it just goes deeper and deeper, and you aren't progressing the sale forward. You end up like way over here, and then way down here, and then way down here, but like you're not even moving closer to a deal. And that's what happens when you don't know how to get back on track, right? And so it's also, on the other side of that, if you approach this the wrong way, it can be really awkward and kind of destroys the rapport, right? So if someone's talking about their dog, and then you're just like, yeah, that's great, but anyway, and then you just go right back into the sale, like it feels a little bit icky, right? So I'm going to give you guys a very good, easy framework that you can implement to consistently stay on track, so that you don't get like totally pulled off of the conversation, right? And that is connect, expand, contract, transition. Okay. Connect, expand, contract, transition. So I'm going to show you guys kind of an example. So connect, you ask a question to connect with the client and engage them. You ask a further question to engage them and get them to open up. You bring the conversation to a dead end, and then you continue along the straight line and continue along the script, right? So let me give you guys an example. Okay, connect. Let's say they talk about their wife, right? So this also builds rapport as you're going on, but doesn't take you off of the line of where you need to go. Awesome. So you said you're married. How long have you guys been married for, right? Oh, we've been married for 55 years. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Do you have any advice for a single guy like me? Right? And then they give you some advice. Oh, man, that's good. So, Randy, I'm getting a couple of quotes pulled up for you. Randy, I'm getting a couple of quotes pulled up here for you. So, like, here I'm connecting. So, I'm asking a further question. I'm expressing interest in their life. Then I'm expanding. I'm going a little bit deeper. Then I'm contracting. I'm taking the conversation to a halt. And then I just transition. So, this is extremely simple and easy to use in a sales call. And you can just use this over and over. And every time you do this, you build deeper rapport. And it's easy to just cut it to a dead end without seeming awkward. And then you just continue in transition, right? So another example. Let's say I'm talking to, Miss Jones, and she's telling me about her dog. Oh, that's great. What kind of dog do you have? Oh, I have, a pit bull. Oh, that's great. I have a border collie. How do you like having a pit bull? Is it, I know sometimes those dogs, they kind of get a bad rep, but how do you like it? Oh, it's great. My pit bull's the best dog in the world. They're so sweet. That's amazing. Oh, yeah, that's great. Yeah, I feel like they do kind of get a bad rep, but, a lot of dogs are good. So awesome. So I'm getting a couple of quotes pulled up here for you. And then I just continue to my next question. But I'm like engaging the conversation enough, but I'm not just going so deep and leaving it open ended where I end off in Pluto. So that's staying on track, ladies and gentlemen. So key takeaways from the 4 pillars and the North Star. You need to know the client's why in order to sell a policy. If you don't know why they're buying, they will not buy. The client's why is who are they protecting, the beneficiary, what are they protecting them from, how does the life insurance solve their problem? You want to treat your clients like they're your own grandparents or parents. Remember that there's a human on the other end of the phone, just like you. Focus on providing a 5-star level of service, whether or not you sell the deal, and then connect, expand, contract, transition to stay on track. Ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you got value from this video. If you did, leave a like, hit the subscribe button. And if you guys want to see a full breakdown of our script, click right here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.